Welcome to Catholic Shrine Basilica YouTube channel. Shrine of Our Lady of Europe, Gibraltar. Introduction. The Shrine of Our Lady of Europe, Gibraltar is a Roman Catholic parish church and national shrine of Gibraltar located at Europa Point. The church is dedicated to Our Lady of Europe, the Catholic patroness of Gibraltar. At the beginning of the 14th century, during the Moor period of the town, a small mosque was erected in Europa Point. It is known that during the First Spanish period, 1309 to 1333, the mosque was turned into a Christian shrine. On 20 August 1462, on Saint Bernard of Clairvaux's feast day, the Spaniards recaptured Gibraltar from the Moors. They converted again the little mosque at Europa Point into a Christian shrine in honor of Our Lady as patroness of Europe, with devout intention of consecrating to God, through Mary, the whole continent, from a place of prayer and worship at its southernmost point. They built a large chapel at right angles to the mosque's east wall, and the whole area became the Shrine of Our Lady of Europe. A statue of the Virgin and Child was installed in this shrine in the 15th century. The statue was quite small, only 2 feet in height, carved in wood and polychromed in royal red, blue and gold. The Virgin was seated in a simple chair, with the child Jesus on her lap. Both were crowned, and the Virgin held in her right hand a scepter with 3 flowers denoting love, truth, and justice. The shrine prospered in fame and popularity for well over 2 centuries. Ships passing through the Strait of Gibraltar saluted Our Lady as they passed Europa Point, and mariners often came ashore with gifts to the shrine. Provisions were made by them for a constant supply of oil so that a light could be kept burning not only in front of the image but also in the tower. Therefore, the light kept burning in the tower above the chapel was the Gibraltar's first lighthouse. In the 16th century, the Mediterranean coasts of Spain were the target of the Barbary pirates. In 1545, Gibraltar was attacked and looted by a lieutenant of Barbarossa, Ali Hamat. The shrine was sacked and all its valuables were stolen, but the statue of the Virgin and Child was respected. The shrine recovered and was protected by new walls, erected by Philip II. New notable gifts were received, such as a silver lamp, given in 1568 by Giovanni Andrea Doria, son of the great Genoese Admiral Andrea Doria, and 2 massive silver lamps presented by John of Austria, upon his victory at the Battle of Lepanto, 1571. History of Shrine of Our Lady of Europe, Gibraltar. After the French bombing in 1693, the next attack to the shrine took place in August 1704 as the city was captured by a mainly Anglo-Dutch fleet on behalf of the pretender to the Spanish crown, the Archduke Charles. As the bombardment of the city began, most of the women and children of Gibraltar were evacuated to the shrine led by several priests. Part of the troops of Captain Edward Whittaker, who had landed at Rosia Bay, headed to the shrine and captured the women. They also looted 12 silver lamps, candlesticks, lecterns, crowns, gems and consecrated vessels, the clothes of many families, who had withdrawn there, and when there was nothing else to rob, they broke off the head of the statue which is so venerated in Spain and the child Jesus and threw it among the stones. Some women had been killed in a gunfight before the soldiers took the shrine, but did not suffer from further molestation when the shrine was sacked. The head of the statue of the Virgin and the child Jesus were broken off. Once broken, the remains were thrown out into the straight landing among the rocks below. However, as the statue was wooden, the remains floated out into the Bay of Gibraltar, where they were found by a fisherman, who later delivered them to Juan Romero de Figueroa, the priest in charge at the parish of Saint Mary the Crowned. Romero de Figueroa remained in the city even when the majority of the population left Gibraltar after the capture of the city, and eventually took the statue's remains to Algeciras for safekeeping, one of the places where the former Spanish inhabitants of Gibraltar had settled down. The statue was hosted in a small chapel dedicated to Saint Bernard, which was later renamed to the Chapel of Our Lady of Europe. At the time of the capture of Gibraltar by the Anglo-Dutch fleet, The shrine, as all other Catholic places of worship in Gibraltar except for the Church of St. Mary the Crowned, now Gibraltar's Roman Catholic Cathedral, was desecrated and ceased to be used, but taken over for military use. It also suffered heavy damage during the Great Siege of Gibraltar and subsequently demolished with a new one rebuilt on the same site in subsequent years. In the early 1860s, the Vicar Apostolic of Gibraltar, John Baptist Scandella, petitioned for the return of the original statue from Algeciras. It was eventually returned to Gibraltar in 1864. As the Shrine of Our Lady of Europe remained in military hands, the statue was provisionally placed in a new chapel erected along Engineer Road. The new chapel included a marble altar donated afterwards by Pope Pius IX. During the Second World War, the statue was returned to the cathedral for safekeeping. After the war, the statue was once more relocated, this time to St. Joseph's Parish Church, the closest church to Europa Point. The building erected at the place of the old Shrine of Our Lady of Europe remained property of the Ministry of Defense until 1961. It had been an army storehouse for oil and packing cases. Since 1928 it had been used as a library for the garrison, but with the outbreak of World War II, it was returned to a storage facility. By 1959, the military authorities, which had begun to withdraw many military installations in Gibraltar, noted that it was no longer required and decided to demolish it. However, this never happened, and due to the efforts of Bishop John Healy it was ceded to the diocese on 17 October 1961, in a private ceremony. Restoration works began in 1962. For the first time in 258 years, a Mass was celebrated at the shrine on 28 September 1962. The statue was finally transferred in public procession from St. Joseph's Parish Church to the shrine on 7 October 1967. In the early 1970s, the building underwent changes. The statue of Our Lady remains in the shrine to this day. In 1997, the sanctuary was rebuilt, and the statue restored. Our Lady of Europe. Our Lady of Europe, Spanish, Nuestra Señora de Europa or Virgen de Europa, is a title given to the Blessed Virgin Mary, patroness of Gibraltar and protectress of Europe. The entire European continent was consecrated under the protection of Our Lady of Europe in the early 14th century from the shrine in Gibraltar, where devotion continues to this day, over 700 years on. Together with Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, Our Lady is a Catholic patron saint of Gibraltar, and as such protector of the whole of Europe. The peninsula now known as Gibraltar was at one time called Calpe. Gibraltar takes its name from the phrase Gibel Tariq, which means the mountain of Tariq, and commemorates the capture of the peninsula by Tariq ibn Ziyad in 710. Muslim troops built a fortress and a mosque at Europa Point at the southernmost part of Gibraltar, located just across from the North African coast. Sepcentenary of the devotion to Our Lady of Europe. Although historians acknowledge the consecration of the pre-existing mosque as a Christian shrine in the first Christian occupation, 1309 to 1333, it is not clear that its consecration to Our Lady of Europe took place during this same period. Despite this, the Diocese of Gibraltar asserts that the original consecration did take place during this short Christian occupation of the territory, in 1309, under the rule of King Ferdinand IV, and not during the second Christian occupation, which began in 1462. Therefore, Bishop Caruana requested the Holy See to authorize a Jubilee year to be celebrated on the 7th centenary of the foundation of devotion to Our Lady of Europe. The authorization was duly granted by the Pope Benedict XVI, and the Bishop Caruana opened a Jubilee year on May 12, 2008, with a solemn Mass. The Pope granted an indulgence to faithful to Our Lady who fulfilled certain requisites. The Jubilee celebrations included processions, masses and various other acts of devotion. On 5 May, the feast day of Our Lady of Europe, a solemn high Mass took place in a marquee outside the shrine, with the attendance of a delegation of some 70 leading senior ecclesiastical figures from across Europe. Civil representatives included Chief Minister Peter Caruana, Governor Sir Adrian Johns, Leader of the Opposition Joe Bassano, and other members of the Gibraltar Parliament, Mayor Solomon Levy, as well as the Spanish Mayor of La Linea Alejandro Sánchez Garcia. The statue of Our Lady of Europe was brought in procession from the shrine at Europa Point. During the Mass, the shrine and the Roman Catholic Diocese in Gibraltar received the Golden Rose, a rare gift bestowed by the Pope. The continent was reconsecrated to Our Lady of Europe. Celebrations also involved cross-border elements. A procession took place on April 27 from Gibraltar to the bordering Spanish municipality of La Linea de la Concepción. It was led by Bishop Caruana and Mayor Solomon Levy, and it carried the gift of a replica statue of Our Lady of Europe. The procession was met on the Spanish side of the border by an ecclesiastical delegation led by the Bishop of Cádiz and Ceuta, comprising all the congregations of La Linea, including its mayor, one from Marbella and another from Castellar de la Frontera. The procession concluded in the Church of the Immaculate Conception, La Linea's main church, and an open-air mass was celebrated. Some days earlier, a pilgrimage of Spanish worshippers proceeded from La Linea to the Shrine of Our Lady of Europe in Gibraltar. On April 15, Bishop Caruana had held a conference in San Roque with the title Our Lady of Europe, 700 Years of History of the Devotion of this Land to the Mother of God. According to Bishop Caruana, the celebrations opened up an opportunity to strengthen links with the dioceses of Malaga and Cádiz, and with the municipalities of the Campo. In addition to these celebrations, Bishop Caruana authored the book History of Our Lady of Europe, published by the Vatican Press as part of the commemoration. A joint issue of postage stamps. Gibraltar and the Vatican City also formed part of the Jubilee celebrations. Only in 1966, a Gibraltar stamp had been devoted to Our Lady of Europe. A commemorative 50 paise coin and a silver medal were also issued. In March 2010, an International Marian Congress was to be held in Gibraltar, with the themes Mary, a sign of Christian identity, religion, anthropology, history and art. Its object, according to Bishop Charles Caruana, is to disseminate the importance of Marian devotion to the image of Our Lady of Europa through its history and the artistic legacy that has developed around it, and that it should become the center of studies of the figure of the Virgin Mary from the standpoint of faith, art, history and anthropology. Confraternity of Our Lady of Europe. A Confraternity of Our Lady of Europe was established in the 16th century with the objective of disseminating the devotion, raising funds and organizing spiritual and social events around the celebrations of Our Lady. The confraternity played a vital role in restoring the shrine and the badly mutilated statue of Our Lady of Europe following plundering of the shrine in the year 1540. One of the last wishes of the late Bishop Charles Caruana was to see the confraternity re-established, in line with other national Marian shrines. The confraternity was relaunched in December 2010, by the shrine's rector, manager Charles Otsoperty, on the eve of the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. Papal approval. In 1979, Pope John Paul II officially approved the title of Our Lady of Europe as patroness of Gibraltar, and subsequently the shrine was restored. Jubilee. Upon the 700th anniversary of the devotion to Our Lady of Europe, the shrine received the Golden Rose, a rare gift given by the Pope Benedict XVI in May 2009. Feast Day, 5th May. Annual Feast Day of Our Lady of Europe is held on 5th May, Europe Day, since 1979. Previously it was celebrated on 30th May and 15th August. Mass time. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Saturdays, 12 o'clock, noon. Church visiting time. October to June. Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. Fridays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sundays and public holidays, closed or as prearranged. July to September. Mondays to Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Contact info: Shrine of Our Lady of Europe, Gibraltar, GX11, 1AA, Gibraltar. How to reach the shrine: Gibraltar International Airport or North Front Airport is the nearby airport to the shrine. If you wish to know more about Catholic shrine basilicas, Marian shrines and Marian apparitions, subscribe to our Catholic Shrine Basilica YouTube channel. Like and share with your loved ones. For more churches website www.catholicshrinebasilica.com.